That is the picture at 4 Pines Park, Brookvale. Sea Eagles, Bulldogs. It's the Blacktown Workers Sea Eagles against Canterbury to get us going today in the knock-on effect New South Wales Cup. Then we're into 3 NRL games. Overnight rain has cleared from Sydney, but it's left some humidity. The sun is blazing over the top of the ground. Warm conditions as we see Blacktown prepare to take to the field. It's been a long pre-season for every player preparing for rugby league. The New South Wales Cup, no exception there. Zach Fulton, Mark Carroll, a player we will watch closely, having seen him make his NRL debut in 2022.
Yeah, as I said, he was a standout when he comes to the gym. He's got plenty to desire this year. What I love about the New South Wales Cup is it's a breeding ground to go and knock on the door for first grade, and that's everyone's goal in life. That's your dream, and what a great way to start here and with Blacktown Workers. But I guarantee you, I don't think he'll be here very long.
So Morgan Harper into the back line, as is Ray Tuamalo Vaenga, Toff Sipley, Ben Condon. Parachute into the starting forward pack. Morgan Boyle, Austin Diaz back to the bench. There's Morgan Harper, 47 NRL games under his belt. So the Blacktown Workers Sea Eagles out first, their heads freshly saved. Toff Sipley, one of them, raising money for Bear Cottage. What a wonderful cause. The Children's Hospice here in the northern suburbs of Sydney, giving such a great service. If you want to donate, seaeagles.com.au. But Nathaniel Roach, she's out there, is strapped up. They all look ready to go, Spud Carroll.
Oh, they're pumped to go, but I'm just looking at that. I went down and spoke to both front rowers, Sipley and Condon. He's here to impress from North Queensland. He's a big man. But have a look at their bench. They've got Diaz and they've got Boyle. So the hot conditions just hit 31 degrees out here. But for the big men, they'll be sucking up the worms, I guarantee you.
Josh Reynolds, he hasn't played NRL since 2020. He hasn't played at 4 Pines Park since 2018. 160 NRL games to his name. Started on a train and trial deal, cracked the top 30. He's playing New South Wales Cup today, looking to notch as much NRL as he can during the season. There are teenagers out there. There are veterans wanting another crack at the top grade. That's what the New South Wales Cup offers. And the scene is set for Game 2 of Round 1. Last night we had Penrith prevailing against North Sydney. Zach Fulton locked and loaded, as are we. Your first Super Saturday of the season. 27 regular rounds ahead. And we are go under blue skies at 4 Pines Park. And the kickoff proved a little awkward at the back, but was gobbled up by Joash Papali'i, who found one of his forwards in Billy Sikrikis with the first carry. The Milpera Colt all the way to the Greek international team. Billy Sikrikis. And both teams will look to navigate the first few sets without any mistakes as Reynolds just comes across the ground. Canterbury go beyond the 30-metre line. Jackson Torpany with that carry, and here's Harrison Edwards. 4 NRL games to Harrison's name after he made his debut late last year. They get to the end of the set, and the kick is down safely to Ray Tuamalo Vaenga.
Yeah, great start by the Canterbury side. Great set of 6, actually. I like how they tried to shift the ball. They're going through the middle, and then they've seen the defensive efforts from the Blacktown Workers. But now Manly have just got to set their composure up and set up for the next set.
Toff Sipley running off his halfback, Troy Dargan. What can Blacktown muster in this opening set of the game? Dargan again goes through his halfback, or Carl Oloapu, the 5'8", ball to ground, and they've failed to complete. So that's not what their coaching staff, led by
play will be a scrum.
David Tungatatoa,
Where do you want it, Bulldogs?
or Greg Boulos in charge of Blacktown would have wanted. Morgan Harper, the man with the handling error.
Yeah, with the experience of Morgan, that shouldn't have been past that. He should have went to the ground there, but as a front row, you don't want to be kept packing into scrums all the time. That's why I say these outside backs, put him in the scrum sometimes.
Nico Pajarillo, give us the conditions. Good afternoon again to you.
Good afternoon, Matty Spud. An early kickoff in March means it is hot down here at pitch level. The sun is beating down with no clouds overhead. Plenty of rain in Sydney overnight. Means humidity is around 70%. Tough conditions for rugby league, but we're not complaining. How good is it to have Super Saturday back on your screens?
Fantastic. And Jaden Ockenbaugh away down the western sideline, grabbed desperately by Tuimalo Vaenga to stop Jaden Ockenbaugh chewing off more run metres.
He's certainly got some pace, hasn't he, on the outside?
Torpenny playing it 30 metres out. Middle of the ground they explore. Again, it's Edwards bumping away from one tackle and attracting 3 defenders, including Nathaniel Roach, Toff Sipley.
Good pressure.
And
6 more, 0
6
tackle
more,
touch.
the call.
Upper square now.
The Bulldogs can reload in great position. Ryan Gray in the headgear in that dummy half roll.
Out now. Lock in markers. Hold. Go on.
This is Sikarikas with the offload as well at the line. So Gray at dummy half. Now Oluwapu, the 5'8". This is danger for Blacktown here. He is fleet of foot, running to the line and passing. And the defence handles it well.
Good defence, Matty.
18-year-old Carl Oluwapu, the 5'8". More on him as the game develops. Well picked up. Reynolds, the ball still there for Canterbury, and it's been called forward. They tried to manufacture some passes that probably weren't on. Zach Montgomery having to rush his play, and you can see the ball going forward as Morgan Harper arrives.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the tip-ons by the Canterbury Bulldogs side. You can see Reynolds got his fingerprints all over the side, but some passes shouldn't be passed, and that was one, Matty. But think about these sort of hot games, all about completions. You want to hold the ball as hard as you can, not give the opportunity to the opposition.
Ignoring the COVID wipeout of 2020 over the last 5 competitions, Blacktown haven't cracked the finals. In fact, they haven't finished higher than 9th. They were 12th of 12 last year, just 2 wins during the campaign. And look at this, Canterbury come up with possession, in great position again. Torpenny, wrapped up by Tuimalo Vaenga.
Police. 1 foot. Go, 2.
And it's Joash Papali'i, the 1 in that dummy half roll. Here's Curtis Moran.
Top off the back.
Debut at NRL level last year for Curtis. Reynolds sitting out the back, and here's Papali'i. So they've got some danger, don't they, in the 1, Papali'i, and the 6, Oluwapu.
Go 4.
Couple of metres out. Gray goes long to Reynolds. Here's Oluwapu, showing it once. Now going out to Jack Stringer.
Last one. Move. Go. Nothing late.
Back for Oluwapu, who will measure this kick towards the in goal. Ockenbaugh up high. He couldn't grab it. Cleaned up by the Sea Eagles, and Dargan comes away with it.
He's certainly got some talent. The number 6, Oluwapu, he's here to impress. As I said, they paid a heap for him, but yeah, that was a really good defensive set by the Blacktown workers. They're sliding in defence. They're going up now. They've got a piggyback out of here, so this will be great from.
It's not quick, it's 10. Yeah, here you go.
So that is very much a breather for the Sea Eagles, under pressure because of their own mistakes. The penalty gives them a chance to kick their way upfield.
Come up here, mate. Up here. Well done.
Fletcher Myers in the 3 jumper, the centre roll for Blacktown. Played in the pre-season challenge, as did a host of players out there for the respective clubs. Straight up the middle. Ben Condon sporting that new cut. Now Dargan, long. Here's a chance. What a chance for Jackson Ferris to career over untouched. The ball from Dargan, long to his unmarked winger. And Jackson Ferris scores the first try of the game.
It all comes from mistakes, Matty. You've got to take these opportunities. A penalty, come from a penalty, but the you take the display from here, the Blacktown work. It's just great vision from out wide, that being Dargan, but what a great put down by Ferris. Nice and deep, hit the ball at pace. 4-0 the kick to come.
Jackson Ferris won NRL game to his credit. That was at Cronulla, round 12, 2020. fact, he scored a try on debut in the centres, a win against Brisbane. So one NRL game for one try, and he makes his way to the Manly system. Scoring here is a Blacktown worker.
I also like an attacking ability like that, Matty. Sipley had to run his decoy run, and he certainly ran that. It took the defensive line to come in a little bit, which allowed Dargan to get his outside pass to Ferris in the corner.
Last year, Jackson Ferris was playing with Glebe in the Ron Massey Cup. Plenty of tries for Glebe as they finished runner-up, losing the grand final. He's on a train and trial deal at Manly, or at Blacktown as a result of being with Manly.
Yeah, no, he's certainly a talent, but just looking out there in these hot conditions, there's a couple of blokes with big hair, and he's certainly got one, but Ockenberg, he must have 3 kilos of hair on top of his head. He must be steaming. Look at that for a head.
It's a good day to have a buzz cut, isn't it?
Oh,
it's a good day to have your head shaved to raise funds for Bear Cottage this week.
It's amazing watching Ockenberg live here. I know he's got massive long hair, but tell you what, he can move, can't he? In 3 strides, he's away.
So from the sideline, looked good for a while, but it's dragged to the wrong side via the boot of Clayton Forlalo. Jackson Ferris. It was Dean Madison, Troy Dargan, the 6 and the 7, setting up their winger.
Great ball. Just, it's all about vision. That if you want to make it in this game, like the Joey Johns in the world, you've got to have vision. He could have put a nice little kick there through, but he thought it was a long ball, and he hit it at pace, Ferris, and great start for the Blacktown workers. It's hard to say. They always want to call them Manly, but the defensive end, they went great. They held them out for 2 sets of 6, got the penalty, put points on the board.
I think viewers know it's the Blacktown workers Sea Eagles, but Blacktown, the feeder club, the Manly NRL club. So you'll hear us use Manly and Blacktown.
I apologise for that.
You need to change it. No one's going to come down too tough on you. Mark Carroll, Ben Condon with the carry from the kickoff. I was stunned to have a look at your record, Spud, and see that you only played 41 games here. Most of your games were at the old Sydney Football Stadium.
Yeah, I know that, Matty. I know you're the king of stats. I was a little bit...
They were great years, though. 95, 96, 97, 3 straight grand finals for Mark Carroll.
The biggest thing out of that, we only missed, only lost 5 games here. It was a fortress. Teams just absolutely couldn't wait to come here. Actually, they wouldn't want to come here. They left with bruises. We used to bash them through the middle, and hopefully this year we'll see a lot of that from Manly. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in first grade this year.
That's what Blacktown are trying to do here as they go through the middle, then are able to pass the ball, and good tackle.
Great tackle.
Clayton Forlalo.
Wow, that's a
shot down by Ryan Gray, the Canterbury hooker. Great tackle. Now the kick. It's dropped off the head. This will be play on. Jackson Ferris grabs a double to start the game. Ferris scores the first and second try. The mistake comes off Blacktown workers' head and sits up for Jackson Ferris to turn 1 into 2.
Yeah, for putting points on the board. That was a fantastic set of 6. A couple of offloads down the blind side, which got great go forward, but there was a cross kick here to Ferris on his chest. It was just great sort of timing here. And again, number 7, he's having a hell of a game. Dargan, left foot kick. Put a bit of pressure on the winger, and Ferris, good hands in the corner.
So Dargan, the former South Sydney Rabbitoh, instrumental to start this game. Blake Wilson it is with the blunder. Morgan Harper managed to evade getting a hand to it, and Jackson Ferris profits as a result. There's
not many left footers in the game these days, Matty. Yeah, we always seem to see right foot kickers, but left he had that little bit of the Phil Mickelson swing. It come around, and it was a great take by Ferris. Put down a lot of pressure on the fullback of the Canterbury Bulldogs side, probably, but unfortunately for him, a drop ball and a great put down by Ferris. 8-0 the kick to come. Hopefully he's learnt from his experience of the first one. He's got to aim more left post and bring it in.
25-year-old Jackson Ferris, as I've touched on, he's been around the clubs from Cronulla to Glebe, now at Blacktown on this train and trial deal with Manly. More on Troy Dargan in a moment from Nico Pajarilio. So the first 2 tries of the game go to the Blacktown workers, both to the man wearing number 2. Another tricky kick to take full value from the try. 25 out, 10 in from the eastern sideline. Clayton Forlalo again drags it to the right of the target sideline. Nico.
Well, Matty, 2 try assists already for Troy Dargan. He's a product of the Cabramatta 2 Blues and came through the Parramatta Eels system. He's of Indigenous Australian and also Cook Islander descent, and has actually represented the Cook Islands against South Africa and the USA, a couple of World Cup qualifiers back in 2019. So a talented young man. 2 NRL games for Souths to his name as well. Hopefully more in the future of Troy Dargan.
He played a couple of charity shields as well. Thank you, Nico. Troy Dargan, 25 years of age. He'll hope for more NRL for those 2 games he's played. 30 New South Wales Cup games for Troy Dargan.
It's so important to get a great kick return. Simply great effort there. Got the 20 metres line in the first hit up. Great start for the Blacktown workers.
Now it's Condon again, the former North Queensland Cowboy. Didn't play NRL last season. Fulton goes on through Madison. Madison's wrapped up by the opposite number 9 in Ryan Gray. Toff Sipley. So Sipley played 19 NRL games last season. Got the 1 try. He's 55 games into his top grade career. And now Dargan with the kick. Out towards Jade Knockenball. There was a hint of a collision, but Papali'i pulled out just in time, allowing Ockenball to complete the catch. And this is an important set for Canterbury. After conceding back-to-back tries, let's see how that has affected them in terms of how they use the ball and where their heads are at. Nothing flash with that carry from Blake Wilson. Keen to avoid another error. It's Curtis Moran attracting the defence. Billy Citrikas. 2 NRL games for Billy. The kick from Reynolds. Skews off the side of the boot and goes out on the full.
I've got to put that down. Great pressure by Big Condon. He's a mammoth man. I had him at the gym, Matty, right? I said, mate, where are you from?
40-metre line.
And I heard him say something, but I couldn't understand. I said, mate, you're Irish. He goes, no. He said something like he was from North Queens. I said, mate, do you speak English up there? But he's a big unit, and he looks even bigger now. He used to have a lot of hair, but now he's moved as a nut.
His junior clubs listed as the Wallumbilla Surat Red Bulls. Have you been to that club, Spud?
No, no, I haven't.
Could you find it on the world map if I pointed it to you?
Yeah, but as I said, the best thing he did there, he put plenty of pressure on Reynolds and kicked out the full.
Dargan, long again, and this time Ockenball got his long arm in the road but could only knock it down. So the set restarts. Blacktown looking for a 3rd try to open this New South Wales Cup game. The competition started last night. Dargan to his fullback, Forlalo. Now Nathaniel Roach for Zach Fulton. He played that NRL game, the Pride Round fiasco of last season. Dargan at the 10-metre line. It goes through Madison. The outside-inside ball is brilliant. Oh, Blacktown. 1 try, 2 tries, and now Forlalo gives them a 3rd try. That was fantastic rugby league early in the season on a stifling day at 4 Pines Park. This, Mark Carroll, is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, certainly is. Something you practice at training sessions and you hopefully it comes off. But the great inside ball here, defence got stood up here, but great pass by Dargan. But what about this inside ball at pace?
It's Condon.
Condon, well, mate, he's had a sensational game. So is Sipley at the moment. There, Condon's had 5 carries, 30-odd metres, but Sipley leading the charge 5 from 54. But as soon as they get the ball, you can't make mistakes. It comes from the mistake from Reynolds. The pressure from Condon, put him out in the full. The next set of 6, every try has been from a mistake, Matty. And you've got to take it with 2 hands. You can't. If you get an opportunity these days, you've got to take it.
Well, Clayton Forlalo, an Eels junior in their pathway, scored plenty of tries for Wentworthville in last year's Ron Massey Cup, and is in his first year at Blacktown. Canterbury Junior burning Canterbury's New South Wales Cup team, Clayton Forlalo.
Do you reckon our cameraman out there in the middle, do you reckon we can put a microphone on him and say, Spud said aim left? He's hooked it every time. So, mate, left post.
The windows are open.
And say
Feel
thank
free
you.
to yell out the window.
Come on, think of Phil Mickelson. Hook.
Kicking towards the Bob Fulton stand, which will fill throughout the afternoon. Now he's steered it to the left of the uprights. Well, if there's any positive, Clayton Forlalo is getting closer. And if this continues, goal kicking won't be an issue. 3 tries to 0 in favour of Blacktown. They lead at 12-0. The goal kicker, a try scorer right there, and hasn't the footy returned with a bang. A thriller on Thursday night. We saw 1 point the difference last night after the Warriors' rousing defensive performance in the earlier game. And as a result, I wasn't surprised when the full house sign or email came out regarding this game today. Manly against Canterbury to follow this New South Wales Cup contest, and all general seating sold out. It will be one of those atmospheres, Mark Carroll, that makes you want to run on again. 41 premiership games here, 35 wins here. Spud, what a record.
It was unbelievable. It was, you couldn't wait to play. I remember I used to come down back here at Lambie Heights on the main road there, and I'd have a look. I knew how big the crowd was, because before the game, before our games, what we've got now, it was a packed stand, so, and also on the hill. So, like I said, it brings fond memories. I learnt the game of rugby league here under Bob Fulton, and just like I said, it blows me away that I see his grandson playing out here, and there's also an opportunity to play first grade later in this year.
Here he is, Zach Fulton on cue, receiving the pass after a nice dart out of dummy half earlier by Nathaniel Roach. Dargan with the kick again. It's a torpedo punt up the ground. Getting away from Joash Papali'i and rolling into the in goal, so a decent kick allows the chase, and they will trap Canterbury in their own 10 again.
There's a lot of guys on the Canterbury side walking back in attack. They're buggered, mate. They've been working hard in the middle.
There's some pressure on the Bulldogs right here. Tackle 2 just beyond the 10-metre line. Jaden Ockenbaugh, some experience in those legs, and he keeps them pumping after contact. Jaden Ockenbaugh, total of 26 NRL games, but not a lot over the last 3 years. 10 in his rookie season, when he won the Steve Mortimer Rookie of the Year at Canterbury, and only 16 in the 3 years since. The ball to ground, putting pressure on Blake Wilson. He's grabbed by Ferris, still going Wilson, and getting away. Blake Wilson. Ferris comes again, along with Torfafora Sibley. A nice run from the left winger at Canterbury. Wayward, the pass out of dummy half. They lose ground and manufacture a poor kick. So Tuimalo Vaenga takes it on the full and passes into Ockenbaugh. So not for the first time today. It will be knock on Canterbury because Jaden Ockenbaugh is forced to shove his hand in the road.
Yeah, thank God for the Canterbury side. He's got arms like 8 foot long, but you know, Vegas probably just went to the ground there. He threw a show and go. He should have not passed the ball, but you know, they're in a good position now. The Blacktown workers. I'll look back at the missed kicks, Matty. You know, I know it's 12-0 and they're saying that they're on top, but you know, the Canterbury Bulldogs side are only 2 scores away. It's so important to kick goals, especially in conditions like this.
Canterbury against Blacktown. Yeah, Blacktown completing 9 of their sets so far. Canterbury only 4. That explains the 12-0 scoreboard, which should be 14, 16, 18-0. Yet to land a goal, as touched on by Mark Carroll.
Off the ball! Marcus not in. 2 feet. Don't leave Billy. Again, Billy. Thank you.
Here's Samuela Fainu. High hopes held for Samuela, part of a talented footballing family. Now Fletcher Myers.
Square. Hold.
Duggan at dummy half. And again, it's Fainu, the 19-year-old. Physically and skillfully gifted, according to keen observers. Younger brother Latu playing 5'8" in the ball competition for Manly. Here's Madison through a hole. Madison takes them on, bounces, twists, and claims the try. Dean Madison. Last year he was Mounties Player of the Year. This year he hopes to be Blacktown's Man of the Moment. He is right there, Dean Madison.
Yeah, he's certainly got some skill, mate. He's got a show and go, but his pace got him through the lines. Which is a catch pass by the Seagull side, but you know, he's got great speed. If you watch this, he's got a show and go, dummy and go. He's taken the individual defence in and showed plenty of space. But I love how he kept the hand off the ground, not double movement. Great skill.
Momentum still in the tackle. He is allowed to roll over, reach out and plant the ball.
It was also a great run by Zach Fulton. What he did, he went the line, turned the ball back on the outside, but he took the defender in, which allowed a gaping hole.
Fair effort from Canterbury's Joash Papali'i. The 5'8" had a fair start, had him covered. Papali'i got there,
Great tackle.
but couldn't stop momentum in the tackle, allowing Madison to score the try. So 4 tries to 0.
Where should he aim, you reckon?
Straight over the black dot would be a handy start. Dargan with kicking duties now. He's dragged it to the left of the post as well. So Clayton Forlalo sacks himself after 3 misses. Up steps Troy Dargan.
Well,
he
gone
comes
too.
up empty.
He's gone.
You'll end up having a kick at this rate, Spud.
Mate, that reminded me off the tee, playing golf, as they call it, the jitters. Mate, I took divots the other day.
Nico sideline.
Yeah, great effort there, Matty, from Dean Madison. Comes from a famous rugby league family. His father, Paul, Uncle Terry, and of course, big brother Ryan Madison with all first-grade experience. Raised in Greenacre, southwest Sydney, he credits his brother as being one of his biggest mentors. We look forward to seeing Ryan in action for Parramatta in round 4. For now, we're enjoying Dean here for Blacktown.
Yeah, according to his management, he had longer offers elsewhere, Dean Madison, but took the 1-year deal here, wanting to really challenge himself and make this an important year for him. He's played 63 New South Wales Cup games, Dean Madison, 25 years of age. In the number 6, a try scorer. And now Zach Fulton, who passed and now loses the ball. Jackson Torpeny comes away with it. He's about to give young Zach a rap for his ball playing that sent the 6 away. Instead, he loses the ball.
So I'll say to all the individuals, hold the ball as hard as you can. It's like if you've got a kid, it's like a baby. You're not going to drop it. So hold the body thing.
Penalty here to Canterbury, right in front, 20 out.
Tap and go. We've got to be quicker. We've got to speed this game up.
Yep, go.
Yeah, Ryan Gray, a lot of time going down the drain before he got to tap and go. So desperate for a try, Canterbury to seize back some momentum. Now it's Edwards. Reynolds, dummy, straightens. And he's wrapped up by Toff Sipley, along with Nathaniel Roach. Gray out of dummy half, Ryan Gray. Darts down low, sees the hole and shoots straight through it. Just what the Bulldogs needed.
Yeah, every try we've seen today, Matty, as I said, it's from a mistake. You can't afford to make mistakes. The good sides put you to bed, and that's what they've done from dummy half. He's seen a massive hole, and Gray, you know, what happens there? The front rows are going through, taking all the dregs off, and next thing he's dummy and go. But it just comes back to a mistake by Zach Fulton. Unfortunately, it's you've got to hold the ball, and they should have worked quicker in the inside there.
He's one of a host of local products in this Canterbury team. Out of the East Hills Club, you don't get more Canterbury Junior than that. Part of their grand final New South Wales Cup team last year at hooker. He's come through the SG Ball where he captained Canterbury, the Flegg, now the New South Wales Cup, the 2018 Australian schoolboy, Ryan Gray.
Isn't it great to hear someone like that with that stat, Matt, that they've come through the juniors? I love that. You know, as a kid, you know, they've gone through the Bulldogs system, and his dream, no doubt, is to play first grade, but he's done everything right, gone and playing all the grades. And I find it fantastic that he's actually a junior from out that way.
Well, let's go through the juniors. Papali'i, Ockenbaugh. You keep going down the list. Reynolds, Moran, Gray, Zikrikis, Torpeny, Khaled Rajab, who we'll see come off the bench. So Bailey Haywood in jumper 19. There are a host of players named in that squad earlier in the week, and it struck me, the number of juniors in this Canterbury New South Wales Cup team. Joash Papali'i, well, he had some extras after Blacktown had been able to do any of that, and it's 16-6 all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's why I find it a bit strange. I'm a para junior, so I'm actually around from Blacktown. I play for Blacktown and St. Pat's, and how these guys are a feeder club to the Manly side is always unusual, but they're given an opportunity to impress. The new coach Seabold, that's what it's all about. Playing New South Wales Cup, you're there to impress, and hopefully one day you'll reach what you want to reach. So
the Spud Carroll journey was Parramatta Junior. The kickoff here taken safely, and the return is handy as well beyond the 10 metres line. Para Junior.
Yes. Started at Guildford, then the place where Brett Kenny played.
Then to Penrith. First NRL at Penrith, then Manly, then Correct. Souths. Or then Souths, Manly, Souths.
That's right. But a lot of people don't know. I actually went to the dark side. I actually played rugby union for 2 years when I was 14, 15, and then got to the Penrith system through St. Pat's, and then just played from there. But mate, I still remember going to Guildford. They've got the highest goalpost in the Southern Hemisphere, matey. I like to see Burton try and put a bomb as high.
Is that why they're called the Guildford Owls? So the Owls can sit on top of the posts. The kick from Canterbury, brilliantly taken at the back. It was Clayton Forlalo skidding on his knees to get there on the full. Never looked like dropping it, but he had some work to do. Clayton Forlalo, try scorer so far, doing some good things in that full-back role. 12 minutes left in the first half here. Morgan Boyle goes forward. Listed to start, but coming off the bench, Morgan. Straight 48 NRL games.
You're about to change. Boyle's come on and replacing Sipley. He had a great start the game, Matty. He's gone off with 7 carries, 81 metres, but he's had the hardest run running from the back fence and getting the 20 metres line twice. Good start by the big man, Sipley.
Nice warm-up. He hopes will result in NRL in coming weeks. Now Madison, another of the try scorers, lobbing this ball towards the 10-metre line. It's taken safely this time. Blake Wilson, who dropped one earlier, looking very assured and getting the penalty as well. Morgan Harper reaching in, grabbing the ball illegally. So 16-6 penalty here. They can kick their way out of trouble. Tell you what, if they can go in at 16-12 or even ahead, that would be a result for Canterbury, given it's 4 tries to 1. They want to play with a bit more, I suppose, skill than that kick for the sideline. It wasn't convincing, Spud.
It was deja vu in some ways. The Blacktown workers got a penalty about the same meterage and then scored a try. So let's see what the Bulldogs can do.
Strong run, dragging in the defence. Kyle Flanagan there, warming up to start the season in that number 7 jersey for Canterbury, something he didn't do last campaign. And it's Flanagan and Burton in the halves. They've got a bench full of forwards, so Josh Reynolds is out here in number 7, and happy to walk away from that. He'll tell you that he's a lover, not a fighter, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, well, he's got a reason for it. It was a bit of a late tackle there, but it's hard as a defender to stop in process. There was probably a 2-second rating there, but he put him on his backside.
Tough day for Shane Flanagan, assisting Anthony Seabold here at Manly. He said to coach against your son. He was happy to put it on record. I don't look forward to that. Yeah. I would want no part of that ideally, but he has to plot his son's downfall today. Shane in the Manly coach's box. Kyle on the field in that half-back role, if you like. Quarterback role for Canterbury. Oloapu passing at the line.
How proud would he be, but maybe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Gray through Edwards. Reynolds. Chips looking for Ockenbaugh! Josh Reynolds waits it beautifully. Gets the height of Ockenbaugh perfectly. And Jaden Ockenbaugh goes in for Canterbury. The comeback is well and truly on.
Yeah, certainly is. And as I said, it's from a penalty they've scored, but great vision by Reynolds. But a big man always beats a little man. This bloke's nearly 8 foot tall, but he's just a great kick. And you said it was just weighted. It was the perfect height, perfect depth, and a perfect try. So well done for Reynolds too. He's got plenty of confidence. As I said, he's got experience. What I love hearing is when in that interview at the start, man, he's come here to teach people. He's come here to teach the game he loves. If he plays first grade, that's a bonus, but it's great to see him out here today, and that's class.
I want Josh Reynolds chipping out of the bunker next time I play golf. That was
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Centimetre, millimetre perfect for Jaden Ockenbaugh. And you're right, 33 years of age, with his halves partner, Carl Oluwapu, 18. So Josh was 15 when Carl landed on the earth. He'd almost started his NRL career by the time Carl Oluwapu had any interest in rugby league. And now they're 6 and 7 for Canterbury's New South Wales Cup team. But yeah, the take from Ockenbaugh, really, that try was all about the kick from Josh Reynolds.
No, it was an unbelievable kick. You know, the forwards did their job, laying a platform, but what they do, they put a bit of a screen up for him that gives him enough time to put that kick across. It was the perfect height. It didn't have to go too high. It was like a little pass, actually, with his foot. And Ockenbaugh, as I said, he's 8 foot tall. He just went over the top of his winger and the score and puts Canterbury side back in this game. As I said, the Manly Blacktown workers, they keep getting me all the time. Those 3 kicks are going to be so vital that he missed.
Yeah, 3 missed.
Actually, 4.
By Falala, 1 missed by Troy Dargan. And Joash Papali'i nailed his only attempt. It was in front. This is trickier, as that shot illustrates.
He's coming back plenty, isn't he? 28 metres.
To get it within a converted try with this kick, Papali'i drags it across the face as we go sideline to Nico.
Yeah, so it was a nice finish by Jaden Ockenbaugh, Matty. It's hard to know how to assess Jaden. We saw right there he's got plenty of talent, 26 NRL games for the Dogs thus far. Jacob Carraz has been a great find for Canterbury in first grade, and Josh Adokar, obviously a premier signing. Ockenbaugh can certainly do a job for Canterbury. I guess the best thing he can do right now is keep pushing for a spot with efforts like the one we've just seen, Matty Russell.
Absolutely. 2019, 10 games in that rookie season, but since then, a total of only 19 across 3 campaigns. Jaden Ockenbaugh, 196 centimetres, so way up over 6 feet, and he used it well. On the end of the kick from Josh Reynolds. 16-10, 4 tries to 2 though. Oluwapu accelerates towards the line.
This game is only in 2 halves in some capacity. The last 10 minutes has certainly been the Canterbury side, but you know, you look at run meters, 458 run meters for the Blacktown workers against 358. They're certainly catching up.
Again, they head out towards the centre role of Zach Montgomery, who is forced to chase here, and the kick for Lalo pulls up nicely. Really come out towards Gerald Skelton on the right side for Canterbury, a big, powerful centre. And we get to see Gerald really fire up in the second half. For the time being, it's Dargan going through the hands to Marlo Vaenga.
I think the way they're playing at the moment, the workers are they're going too much sideways, man. They've got to start going through the middle again, what they start the game with. They're trying to, and they're not in catch-up mode. They've got to lay a platform again and then get back on what they were doing. Good run.
Strong indeed. It's Austin Diaz steaming onto the ball, allowing them to kick off the front foot. Down for Papali'i. He glides forward but can't beat the tackle. It comes from Carl Lawton. Good to see Carl back from that knee reconstruction. The ACL injury following that 4-game suspension for a lifting tackle. Carl Lawton, 9 games last season before suspension and injury cut him down. Key part of this Manly squad in 2023. Here's Skelton, but in a dummy half. Reynolds goes on through the hands. So Lipoi Hopboy out there in jumper 21. Reynolds again stabbing the ball and having it pull up in front of Clayton Forlalo. He's received a couple of kind bounces the last 2 kicks from Canterbury, the Blacktown #1.
Yeah, it was a strategic kick there from Reynolds. He's put it in deep in the corner. It's one of the hardest runs coming out. You can see the Blacktown workers are slow to recover. We're in the danger 5 minutes as a coach. This is the time you've got to hold on and get to half-time without any more mistakes or points.
Here's Morgan Harper.
He looks like Lionel Richie. I always think of that song, Hello.
Please don't. As Lawton goes towards halfway, Morgan Harper actually started with 2 years at Canterbury. Now in his 4th at Manly. The kick from Dargan is a grubber towards the sideline, controlled beautifully.
Very good.
He's happy to just work this clock late in the first half.
a couple of years ago, Matty, that would be the best thing as a front row. We're going to have a scrum, but now they've got to get ready for the play the ball.
On the line for us.
Sped up the game here.
Back.
So a couple of the young guns involved in this play the ball. Joash Papali'i and Carl Oluwapu.
Carl, arms away. Hold.
So as Canterbury come out of their own 20-metre zone, let's go back to Nico Pajarillo with a view to the second half and the NRL game to follow, Nico. How's this temperature and humidity at 4 Pines Park?
Matty, very, very warm. It continues to be warm. It says 25 degrees online. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels closer to 30, to be honest with you. There is a bit of a breeze about, so offering some relief. But, yeah, I think we're in for a picture-perfect and warm day on the northern beaches of Sydney.
Okay, Skelton fed by Reynolds. The big fend for Ockenbaugh down the sideline, who'll kick back in field. All they need is a bounce. It's off the legs of Madison. He watches it go into the in goal, then a second kick bails Blacktown out, but that was a half chance, maybe more than that, Mark Carroll.
Yeah, certainly it was the second time Ockenbaug's got in the clear. It was just bad defence through the middle, great little offloads here, but great vision also from Ockenbaugh. Louise kick. These wingers these days, they've certainly got some skill. Thank God a kick there by Madison to save the day, but the Blacktown workers now have 2 minutes to hang out, which is 2 sets of 6, so it'll be a great defensive effort to keep them out before half-time.
Here, hold.
Hoffman was sweating on the ball, but he couldn't get the right sort of bounce. It goes long for Hip Boy.
I like those long drop kicks, Matty. I'm not really a short man. I just don't like the short kick off. I think you're 50-50.
You don't like riding your luck and
No.
trying to get it back. Here's Torpenny. Torpenny still standing. Strong run by the edge forward. Attracting 4 defenders at one stage. Harrison Edwards. Edwards stepping, looking to offload. He gets the ball away. Oluwapu for Joash Papali'i. Dancing his way towards the in goal. Papali'i gets there. What a show of skill. The footwork, the determination. He grounds the ball. That's why Joash Papali'i is a team talent.
Oh, he certainly is. You've got to work for the full 40 minutes, not with 39 minutes. I've seen that in the grand final, but the thing is, it was from a great kick by Ockenbaugh. They got another repeat set of 6 at the Manly side. They had to keep working on the inside. Just a great run. God, this guy's fast off his feet and just showed great determination to hit and spin. And as I said, Matty, those missed kicks are so important. We're going to go to half-time 16 all, and they probably should have been up 24-16. But well done to the Canterbury side. They haven't given up. As I said, game in 2 halves. It was all Manly at the start, or Blacktown workers at the start, but the Bulldogs have certainly bounced back.
Austin Diaz for Blacktown got a fair chunk of Papali'i in that defensive effort, but still, Joash Papali'i, the St John's Eagle Junior, was able to score the try. He's making his New South Wales Cup debut. Joash Papali'i, schooled at Holy Spirit Lakemba.
One thing he has got, man, he's got pace. These fullbacks these days, they blink and they go through, but they also got the rotation of the body, and that was a great put down.
Joash Papali'i to level us at 16 points all. So from 16-0 down, they've come back to level it up, Canterbury. 3 tries to the Dogs after the first 4 went to the Sea Eagles. On a warm afternoon at 4 Pines Park, we have a game on our hands. We'll break and be back to 4 Pines Park. It's the sort of afternoon at 4 Pines Park where some of the sponsors' products might get destroyed during the afternoon. Really hot, really humid, and these men will know they've played a game of footy. By the time 80 minutes have expired, we've got 40 down already, and it's 4 tries to 3, but 16 all on the scoreboard. Mark Carroll, the way the Dogs came back in that first half, I know it's level, but they took the momentum into the break. I wonder whether they can maintain that early after resumption.
Yeah, it was a great first half. As we said, the Blacktown workers come flying out the blocks, put 3-4 tries, quick start, and then the I think the expertise of Reynolds, I think he took control of the game. His kicking game was perfect. That cross kick to Ockenberg was unreal, but his handships through the middle. His passing game is fantastic, which allows these guys on the outside, especially someone like Papali, show his class.
Both teams completing above 80%, so the coach is no doubt satisfied with that. Penalties kept to a minimum as well, the error count low, so all up it's been a promising performance from both sides so far. There's Madison, a try scorer in that first half. Austin Diaz off the interchange bench, and Josh said he won't be playing in sleet and snow now he's back in Australia. Well, that's definitely the case today. He's having a breather to start this second half.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, man. All those tries we've seen were from mistake before, so it just proves hold the ball.
Behind it.
Back from Hull to join his original club, Canterbury, Josh Reynolds. Sound in the first half, great kick for a try. And Morgan Harper brings Blacktown back into the game from the kickoff. Morgan Boyle it is. Backed up by Austin Diaz. So the 8 and the 10 both named to start for Blacktown, but instead it was Toff Sipley and Ben Condon getting through impressive first stints. For Greg Boulos, the Blacktown workers coach. And they're building promisingly in this first set after half-time. Josh Stuckey with a good carry. And now they take tackle 5. Boyle putting his hand up for more work. And it's Dargan kicking out towards the wing of Blake Wilson, who put one down for a try in the first half. Since then, he's looked very comfortable under the high ball.
Yeah, so it was a great start by the Blacktown workers just coming out after half-time. It's one of the hardest things to do, Matty. You might have a bit of a rest in there in the sheds. We've seen some great hits at the top, but now the Blacktown workers, they're not going to go out wide. Tighten through the middle and bring it on.
Ockenbaugh comes forward. I mentioned Blacktown struggles over the last 5 New South Wales Cup competitions, being unable to crack finals. Well, Canterbury have been strong. They haven't missed the top 4. Of course, they went to last year's grand final only to be beaten by Penrith. Here's Carl Olowapu kicking out towards the sideline. It's covered, and covered well by Clayton Folalo. And he's trapped about 18 metres out from his own line. Decent chase from the Bulldogs. They've been rejuvenated, both teams at half-time. Leading the chase there, Zach Montgomery and Reese Hoffman.
I love when two teams come together like this, Matty. We've got both sides have got new coaches at the top that impress. So what you do every week, as I say, at the game these days, you need at least 30 top players in case major injuries. So this is their opportunity to say to the coach, mate, I'm available anytime.
Austin Diaz with another strong run. 7 NRL games for Austin. They came last year as a Wests Tiger. Here's Dargan, driving it low and long in behind Jaden Ockenbaugh, down on top of Canterbury's goal line. Ockenbaugh slips, the chase is good, and Ockenbaugh takes the first tackle just beyond his 10-metre line.
They need to compress here, come out the line, give them a whack.
Let's see if they do. They do compress the Sea Eagles, and Canterbury go down the short side. Samuel Afainu was waiting for them. And the going is tough for Canterbury right here.
All the way back. 3. Well done.
Good hands.
Good take as well. Now they move the ball. Comes out to a wing where Wilson tries to go down the sideline. Grabbed by Ferris. Up and going again, Blake Wilson. Still shrugging his way clear of tackles.
Great run.
It's left to Clayton Folalo to fell the left winger at Canterbury. As they go inside Blacktown's 20 here. This will be tackle 5. Harrison Edwards standing in that tackle. Gray. And now Olowapu, his kick rebounds into the grasp of Lipoi Hopoi, and Canterbury have the lead for the first time.
Oh, you've got to make your own luck. Look at this poor bugger standing in front of it, gets a kick and a rebound into it. But great set of 6 by the Bulldogs, as you can see. But that was from an area where Ockenberg was caught in the corner. Great run here by Wilson. Just get bumped off players. But as I said, the Canterbury Bulldogs, they just play for the full set of 6. Bit of a ricochet there. He can't get out of the way for that ball, and great pickup.
Lipoi Hopoi Spud, 10 games for Canterbury in the Cup last year, so he was part of this grand final team, 2022. And here he is on the end of this kick from Carl Oluwapu, but we'll give the former Noosa Pirate, Blake Wilson, the winger, some credit for taking them upfield, for staying on the run, despite the defence getting half a hold of him at stages.
Yeah, he's certainly a good attacking player. He's had 5 carries, 79 metres. That was probably a 25-metre run, but Ockenberg's been doing a great job on the other side, so this kid said, give me a run, and that set up the try for the Canterbury side.
I saw Blake Wilson as a Noosa Pirate, pictured as a youngster with another former Noosa Pirate, Moses Mbai.
Right.
Now, they're both in the NRL. Moses, a veteran campaigner, part of the St George Illawarra setup. A bye in round 1 for the Dragons, but Moses and the Dragons finish round 2, the last slot of round 2. So a long wait for the Dragons to open their premiership campaign. Wilson with the run, and the try to Lipoi Hopoi gives Papali'i this conversion attempt. He's 3 from 4. And Canterbury have a 6-point lead, Nico.
They certainly do. Well, Bulldogs coach David Tangata-Toamati would be very pleased with that effort. At the interval, he urged his team to focus on ball control and maintain the momentum with which they finished the first half. As for Greg Boulos, unsurprisingly, he wants his team to go back to what worked in the first 15 minutes. Play hard and straight up the middle and work hard for each other. He'd be looking for a better defensive effort than that.
Oh, Nico, how's the sweat balls going in there, mate? You'd be dead to dripping like anything, wouldn't you?
Oh, mate, this suit and tie is not great.
Yeah. Oh, mate, we're feeling for you.
Not the day to have a suit and tie.
Turn that air conditioning down, please.
It's
too cold.
A wet, cold towel is the order of the day. And let me tell you, an item they call a kestrel. You got a kestrel at home, Spud? You don't. They take it out to the field.
I've got a kettle.
They take it to the field and measure heat, humidity and wind conditions, and that will decide whether the NRL game, the 3 o'clock kickoff, has drinks breaks at the 20-minute mark.
Wow.
And with temperatures at nearly 30 degrees and humidity around 60%, that is a real chance that they'll be forced to stop for drinks at the 20-minute mark or thereabouts in each half of the NRL game to follow. A kestrel. Every house should have one.
Well, we've got a Nico, so maybe if they forget to bring it, we put him out in the centre and he can give us an idea what the humidity is and the amount of sweat these players are going to drop.
I don't know about that, Spud. I'm quite comfortable here on the sideline, let alone out there in the middle.
Here's Jackson Torpany. He's looked comfortable in the middle for a while now, hasn't he? As he's come through the grades here at Canterbury, collecting a number of awards on the way. He's their reigning New South Wales Cup Player of the Year, Jackson Torpany. Now Oluwapu with Papali'i joining the back line. The defence was up and waiting for the Canterbury fullback. Ryan Gray out of dummy half.
He's quick, isn't he? And a great little offload too.
Gets it away for some more metres via Zach Hetherington. Oluwapu. Final play for Canterbury. It's out for Bailey Hayward, who kicks out towards a wing, marked in goal. Smart play.
Very smart.
Ray Tuimalo Vaenga. Has been known as Ray Vega in the past, but thanks to all clubs for knuckling down on pronunciations. Ray Tuimalo Vaenga.
He had a great year last year and he certainly picked it up from here. What I'm loving also is in these hot conditions, it's so important is about offloads. That's how, but they've got to be selective offloads at the moment. The Blacktown Workers 4 offloads compared to 3 for the Canterbury Bulldogs side, and that's why it's such a close game.
Boyle playing the ball. Lawton was dummy half. It goes through Madison. And the defence reads it well. Yeah, the tackle on Austin Diaz.
Ball's there inside there.
Instead it was Madison to the line. Boyle, Dargan, flats. Here's Samuela Fainu. I mentioned his age earlier. Hard to believe he's 19. Close to the line here, Blacktown. And they'll change it over a couple of metres out.
Well, this is one of the important parts of the game now, mate. We've got 31 minutes to go, but we've got to, Manly to get back into the game. Blacktown Workers, they need to have a great defensive set here. That's a great start.
Do you mind them running the ball there? Do they always have to grub it towards the in goal or put a kick in, or do they mix it up every now and then with a run at the line?
It's all game-changing. These are game-changing moments. If there's an opportunity for a knock-on here, but you just got to keep doing your stuff, keep going through the middle, and then go out wide when it's time. Don't always go wide. You've got to go forward first.
Canterbury with the lead now from 16-0 down. Really strong from Carl Lawton.
Great tackle.
Didn't play in the pre-season, completing that comeback from his ACL injury, and Clayton Folalo looked very relaxed as he gained that ball. Maybe the coach's box was a bit more tense.
He practiced that at training, I guarantee you. What about the other day? Munster's offload. I thought he was about to drop the ball and he set up the try on the outside back. So these blokes that were so well skilled these days.
Big play, wasn't it, when he returned from that, as it turns out, compound fracture of a finger.
Tough.
With the blood dripping from the wound, he played a role in getting Melbourne home to continue that remarkable round 1 record under Craig Bellamy. Quick hands here to Morgan Harper. Outside, Ferris, away down the sideline. Good defence. Blake Wilson. What about his comeback from the error to concede a try to Blacktown in the first half? Since then, he's been perfect.
Oh, what a great tackle by the winger, Wilson. It's just, he kept working on the inside, but what a love after that, Matty. The whole side's come over and pat him on the back. That's what passion is. And mate, nothing better when you do something great in the game and the team does that.
And just mentioning Melbourne, he's been part of the Sunshine Coast Falcons for the last 2 years, Blake Wilson, in the Queensland Cup. Last season, injuries hampered his campaign a little bit, but the Falcons defeated club to Melbourne. And now we see Blake Wilson on a wing here for Canterbury.
Yeah, what a great system the Melbourne system is. Oregon as a player, that's one guy you want to be coached by, Bellamy, and sort of Bennett. Yeah, they're the best two pinnacle coaches. But look at someone who had a great experience on the other night when Sean Garlick, a great mate of mine, his son Bronson making his debut. He played in the Canterbury side. He was doing the New South Wales Cup. Melbourne sort of seen something in him, and he's grown into a first grader.
So listen, for everyone, put yourself on show in the second tier, Queensland or New South Wales Cup, and who knows what happens as Canterbury go through the hands again. Big contact made there by Ferris. Coming in on Reece Hoffman. Shut down on the spot. Oluwapu, high, really high above 4 Pines Park, gobbled up by Folalo. So Canterbury hold this single try lead, 22-16. Tuimaolo Vaenga.
Here we go.
Penalty here.
What a great run that was, Matty.
Ray Tuimaolo Vaenga.
Please.
He's been hurt as a result of the run. Just needed to refine a little bit of discipline off the field in terms of diet and exercise and being on time, etc. But Manly have long said that Tuimaolo Vaenga is an NRL winger. Get everything right about your week, not just the 80 minutes. And they'd be expecting him to play a lot more NRL down the track. There is Viliami Kikau. He's been doing a lot right for a long time, all week.
And he's been working on the hair. I love that hair. He puts the, he's got a bit of dye in there, but to keep it white like that, Matty, I don't know why I know this. You've got to use purple shampoo, but you talk about nutrition. It's crazy how it's come such a long way. I've got a nickname, Spud, from eating a hell of potatoes before a game. But I remember guys, when they played in the western suburbs, Magpies, they used to drink beers because they thought that was good for their weight. And that was part of the thing. But now, they get skin tested, and it's great to see these guys so fit. They're so big these days. It's ridiculous.
Fulton goes through the halves and explore on this right-hand side of the ground, Blacktown. From 16-0 up to trailing by 6. Here's Josh Stuckey. One man of the match in a Canberra first grade grand final in 2019. Josh Stuckey. Was a good carry. It goes through Fulton now. Quick hands. Dargan got the ball away for Fainu, who goes back to Nathaniel Roach. Now they go through the middle. Condon winding up.
He's been brilliant.
Good tackle from behind. An important tackle for Canterbury. Here's Madison spinning, staying alive in the tackle. He gets it away for Nathaniel Roach, and the tackle count restarts. It was Zach Hetherington with the tackle for the Dogs. Good stop, Zach. Now Condon thinking about the offload. Taken down by Stringer. Roach goes flats. And the defence was waiting. Boyle it was. Couldn't find his way through. Madison Long. Here's a chance for Morgan Harper. Still there. Morgan Harper. It becomes a wrestle on the ground and he's held up. Canterbury are excited by that defensive display. Morgan Harper looked like a try scorer for a long, long way through there. And look at this again from Blake Wilson. Now, he had some helpers, but Blake was there with primary contact.
I'm sure they practiced that at training, but they just kept working on the inside for their mates, and it was a great defensive effort. But the Blacktown workers, this is their opportunity to strike.
Madison to Boyle, and it spills free.
Double.
The defence, the contact, the ball comes out. And the chance that was there for Blacktown is lost, Mark Carroll.
Yeah, if we have any vision of the coach in the stand, you'll probably want to jump off it because they're what they call coach killers. They want to be a bloody coach. They're all bald. They rip their hair out for efforts like that. There was an opportunity for the Blacktown workers to put some points on, but now they've just got to recoup, get the defence right again, and hopefully they get another opportunity.
Zach Hetherington doing some good defensive work. There were a number of Canterbury players over the last few minutes with Blacktown bearing down on their line, who came up with big plays, big stops. And it must be said across the NRL round so far, the defensive performance of Brisbane last night, the Warriors before that,
Defense,
Melbourne in the first half on Thursday night.
I just think the days I had here at Manly, you're the king of stats. As I said, you're the David Middleton of Fox.
There's only one Middo. No one can go close to Middo.
We held the record of holding points out. It was all about defence. We practice and practice it. We could hold sides out for 3 sets of 6, Matty, and then we'd get the ball and we'd score. And they're thinking, how do you do this? But you have a look at the Brisbane side. Defence won that game. Yeah, it's just the way they worked was just fantastic. Melbourne Storm, they just kept working for themselves on the inside, and the good sides, they always win.
So a very handy penalty here for Canterbury to get off their own line, where they've been for a while in this second half.
It's probably one of the best side kicks I've seen too, man. Nothing worse when they try and rush their kicks out, because it's an opportunity to kick the hell at the ball. That was he kicked that 30 metres in.
Blacktown with more than 60% of this second half in Canterbury's territory. So the Bulldogs will be relieved to find themselves on the Sea Eagles 25-metre line, if there was a line. Now Oluwapu. Still going, Carl Oluwapu. Out of the Broncos, into the Bulldogs, getting the ball away. It opens up for Gerald Skelton to go over untouched. They stayed alive in the middle of the ground, drew defenders in, then spread it where it opened up for Gerald Skelton.
Yeah, Skelton puts the ball down the corner. It was worked through the middle by Alope. He's just got some skill. They talk about they pay a heap for him. You can see why. Looks like he's got spiders on. No one wants to touch him, but it all comes from the other set of 6 down the other end. They gave him an opportunity from a drop ball. And as I said, the good sides, like the Canterbury side, with the skill level in the middle, and they've scored in the corner. What a comeback. They were down 16-zip.
We saw a bit of Gerald Skelton, 6 games, in fact, in last year's New South Wales Cup, the former rugby union product. Trying his hand at rugby league, and he's got a big, strong frame. Didn't have to use it there.
Yep. But
the work inside from Carl Oluwapu, the 18-year-old nabbed from Brisbane. There were reports of a $500,000 transfer fee. Whatever way, he goes to the Bulldogs after a messy split with Brisbane. And he's shown us some signs here why Phil Gould and the Bulldogs were so keen to get him. The Dolphins were interested. There were other clubs as well. But he comes to Canterbury on a deal that extends out to the back end of 2026. Last year's Australian schoolboy captain. He's a man who shone at the national spud.
He's certainly come from a great pedigree, but also the Bulldogs have seen this. We've seen this live. This guy can certainly play, but I also put that down to as I said, the kick out for the penalty. He hit it 35 metres. What that does, man, it saves you 2 hit-ups. and it puts them in a great position. That's why in rugby union they take their time. Nothing worse than to see someone kick it out and they kick it 5 or 10 metres. Come on, you should at least kick it 25 metres without blinking. Does that make sense?
Well said. For a man who had his kicking licence stripped from him continually by the late, great Bob Fulton.
Correct.
You'll forgive me for tuning out when you started talking about kicking.
No, mate. You'll keep. I know where you live, remember.
You're always welcome, bud. Always welcome. So the conversion attempt, Joash Papali'i from the sideline. Over it goes. 28-16 as we find Nico Paharilio.
A nice finish there, Matty, for Gerald Skelton. He grew up playing rugby league, a product of the Albany Creek Crushers in Queensland. When he began private school, though, he made the switch to rugby union and actually represented Australia 18 times in rugby sevens. He was signed by the Melbourne Rebels a few years ago and played 2 Super Rugby matches for them, in fact. Last year, at a crossroads, go to Japan and pursue the Wallabies or keep playing rugby league. Here he is trying to crack the bright lights of the NRL. And also, guys, just an update. I've been chasing this Josh Reynolds situation. Canterbury has told me he is not injured, so the switch looks to purely be a tactical one.
Okay, then. Thank you, Nico Paharilio sideline. Josh Reynolds playing the first half. That pass looked suspect, but has been sitting for the second half.
They're lucky to have enough good reserves there, but he put them on the page, didn't they? He had a great first half. He had two touches at the tries. The first one being, the best one was a cross kick. That was fantastic to see live. But as you said before, Matty, you don't realise, well, a lot of people don't understand. I played 5'8" until I was 18, okay? So I had everything. I had a chipping game, I had the long game, I could kick goals, field goals. And I tried to do that here at training once. And I kicked the ball. It was a great torpedo punt. It went out. And Bozo looked at me and goes, while I'm here in Manly, you'll never, ever kick the ball again. And Bozo used to scare the tripe out of me. Like, seriously, guess what? No more kicks.
No more kicks. It's a famous story. Your licence to kick was put through the shredder.
It was. Oh, mate, he used to... Oh, mate,
your job was to put it under the arm, put your head down and run hard. As Canterbury here is a problem for Blacktown.
Sorry, zero. Sorry,
great defensive effort through the middle.
Stinger, it appears, for Dargan.
16.
Another mistake by the Blacktown workers.
No, it's the players injured, that's all.
Well, he's been good, Dargan. It was a couple of try assists early in the first half, kicking soundly, and he's lost the ball there as a result of that contact and stinger, but it looks like he'll be able to continue.
Isn't it great looking out here from the top? The crowd is coming. The Dogs of War. Remember, they used to be called the Dogs of War, the Bulldogs side. Well, I guarantee you, this competition is going to be electric today. 3 o'clock, we've got to kick off old school. It's going to be hot. It's going to be steamy.
I saw Lara Pitt putting the sunscreen on a moment ago. She's ready to lead the team. Michael Ennis, Steve Roach, Warren Smith, Jake Duke will set the scene here from 4 Pines Park, then bring you Manly Canterbury, round 1. Before a sold-out crowd here at 4 Pines Park. It's Canterbury leading this one by 12. 2 converted tries to the good. It was 16 all at half-time, and they continue to play on the front foot with another penalty, inviting more pressure on the Blacktown goal line.
Yeah, they're getting hammered with the penalties, 5-2. That make it 6, and that's been the resilience of the Canterbury side. They just keep going and going.
Jacob Sykes out there for the Sea Eagles in jumper 15. He's tough and he's hard, and Willis, the Blacktown coach, might sense they need the middle stiffened up a little. Oluwapu, quick hands through Hayward. Picked up by Hoffman now. He bounces around. Reese Hoffman stopped 5 metres out. Into the final 20 and another penalty to Canterbury.
I think another penalty like that, Matty, there'll be someone in the bin.
3 in a row now for the Dogs.
They're going to slow it down now. They're going to go for the kick. They got 30-16, but you've got to believe they were 16-0 down. We thought it could be anything. It could have been 24 if they kicked the goals, but typical Bulldogs / the Canterbury side, they just keep going and going and going. Never give up.
Penalties to Canterbury in the 55th, 62nd and 63rd minutes. So 3 and 8 minutes of game time. And as a result, they're out by 2 converted tries, and A goal here will give them a very comfortable margin.
Yeah, well, things that I look at through on the stats, man. I love the stats on this here. The hit-ups, but the main thing is the run meters. They talk about post-contact, right? But the thing is, I love the run meters from the back fence. And now the Bulldogs were down about 150 metres. Now they're leading by 100, so there's certainly been a turnaround for at least the last 40 minutes.
Absolutely, it's basically square on the run meter front, but considering how many they conceded early, it's been a fair comeback by them on the scoreboard and in many of the statistical departments. They've scored 28 points since Blacktown Workers led 16-0. The next 28 to Canterbury, and it's about to be 30 if Joash Papali'i has his way. Just 10 out in great position, and it is 30-16 to Canterbury. What a turn in this game in terms of 4 tries to Blacktown in the first 23 minutes. They led it 16-0. You wondered how many they might post. Instead, they're still camped on 16, and the next 5 tries have been scored by Jade Knockenbour's Canterbury. Throw in 4 conversions as well. And penalty, and they're looking good, as is this man all day.
Karate kick.
Blake Wilson went high, and I think Hoffman might have worn his boots as he came down.
MMA.
Bit of friendly fire. It was a spectacular take. Hoffman was enjoying the view. Look at it. And he cops one in his chops. Bang! Straight in the mush.
Imagine if he dropped him. Would he got upset? Would he got sent off?
He's okay, luckily. The mouth guard in there. It's an easy way to lose a couple of your front teeth.
Stay tight. Go for.
Bit of blood flowing, so maybe there's more contact than we first thought. Canterbury here through Reese Hoffman, bumping and burrowing his way forward a few more metres. Haywood kicks across the ground out towards the height of Ockenbaugh, who didn't contest the kick. And it's Ray to Imalo Vainga with the take just beyond his 10-metre line. Still, there's some defensive application here by the Bulldogs.
No, there certainly is. They're turning the shoulders. It's making the Blacktown Workers go through them, fighting for every inch. But the best thing I just heard there, mate, I heard the referee. He probably didn't know the bloke's name, so he said, "Number 10, come back here." I love that. That's how it should be. I hate it when they start doing their nicknames. They know their names. Mate, they've got wearing number 8 or number 10. Get back.
This round 1 of the New South Wales Cup. Last night it started Penrith over Norths. 18-12, Tyrone Peachy, Isaiah Yongi and Jack Cogger, the try scorers. Another game on concurrently to this one, Warriors against Newcastle. And this afternoon, later on, Parramatta against Canberra at Kellyville, Newtown against Souths at Henson Park. Get out to the New South Wales Cup if you can, including at Leichhardt tomorrow. But Blacktown inside Canterbury's 20 again. Harper accommodated well by the Canterbury defence. It was Hoffman and Oluwapu there for the Dogs. Madison goes back to talk for 4 Sipley. Now Nathaniel Roach running off his former Warriors teammate. And it's towed ahead by Wilson, who was appealing for a penalty.
Yeah, that pass didn't need to be passed, Manny. But then again, they probably look at the scoreboard saying we've got to catch up here. But yeah, but there was pressure on the number 12, that being Stuckey. As a second row catching the ball like that, the guy who threw it, my God, he's not the one who's getting under pressure. But as I said, they keep giving the ball back to the Canterbury side, and every time the Canterbury side gets an opportunity, they end up scoring.
So here's the way the injury occurred. Reese Hoffman just wearing the boot of Blake Wilson. That's one way for Blake to make sure there's not a mix-up. He doesn't collide with his own player. Get out of him away.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Well, the knock on there by Blacktown, and then I think Blake Wilson was appealing, well, why can't I race through and pick up that loose ball and run away? He was taken out while not in possession, but the referee had played the knock-on infringement. That play allowed to be continued. Maybe the scrum could have been a penalty. Anyway, Canterbury have the ball. Still their own side of halfway with a 14-point lead. What can their NRL colleagues do in the game to follow this one? The Cameron Ciraldo era makes its official start at the Bulldogs against the Anthony Seibold era at Manly. Lara Pitt, Michael Ennis, Steve Roach, Warren Smith, Jake Duke bringing you all the action as Super Saturday continues. Now here, Clayton Forlalo has been pushed in the back.
Where do you want it?
So the ball will go to Blacktown. He was just watching the ball and it lands out of play before there's any contact. So right call. And the Sea Eagles, the Blacktown Workers Sea Eagles, still have plenty of times, Mark Carroll. 11 minutes left, down by 14 points. Just need to try over the next few minutes.
Yeah, but I think if they can score the next, well, they need to score the next try. If they don't, they're gone. But I think they've just got to keep working through them. It'll set their structures up, and hopefully for a little bit of luck.
Cameron Ciraldo looks very relaxed before his NRL coaching debut. Of course, many years as an assistant, successfully at Penrith most recently. Dargan, Fainu. Doesn't appear to be many first-day jitters for Cameron Ciraldo.
No, they're very structured these days, aren't they? They've had some pretty good upbringing, both sides. Both coaches have had some great experience. We've also had some great leaders as well to learn off. So I'm sure they're nervous in the guts there, Matty. Why wouldn't you be? If you're not nervous, you're not ready.
Wilson runs strongly again through the middle. Now Jaden Ockenball. Heard stories about your nerves pre-game, Mark Carroll.
That was horrible.
Gray out for Jackson Torpenny.
I'll tell you who's been a standout. Ockenball to come out and see. He's had 11 carries, 141 metres, and some of those metres are probably the hardest runs from the back end.
Zikarikas through Oloapu. Here's Hoffman, just straightening. Hoffman straight through the line. Hoffman needed support. There was no one there. Playing at 10 outs. Gray. Oloapu off the left foot. Here he is. Carl Oloapu, the 18-year-old wonderkind going in.
He certainly is, Matty. Oloapu, we're all waiting to see what this kid can do. He's come down, he's shown these guys he's too good for this class. He really is, but every time he touches the ball, there's excitement in his feet. He's certainly got left foot, right foot to be just show and goes. It's all from the go forward, but look at this. Step and go. Work on the inside. The work on the inside wasn't there. You've seen that left foot step straight off the big right. Tell you what, he can move for this young man, can't he? You'll see why they fought so hard to get him here, Matty.
A Randwick Kingfisher, and we're not talking about the eastern suburbs of Sydney. We're talking about a junior rugby league club, Wellington, New Zealand. But he's an Australian schoolboy, and he's come to Canterbury from the Brisbane Broncos system, where he was signed as a 13-year-old. And so high are the accolades around Carl Oloapu that he's contracted until the end of 2026 at Canterbury.
Well, after watching the Warriors play, how they let him out of the system, what I love about the Warriors, they can beat anyone, anytime, if they get their head straight. I think with their new coach over there with the background for the Penrith Panthers, it's all about defensive. We spoke about, Matty, you look at Broncos, the way they defended. Melbourne Storm kept working for each other. I knew something was going to happen with Penrith Panthers. The loss of, here we go, Big Tom Travois. How good is he? Everyone's excited about that. That's why everyone's here, Matty.
Given an overhaul in the US, back ready to have an injury-free 2023. Tom Trbojevic looking to light up Four Pines Park in an hour or so on a warm autumn's day in Sydney. Joash Papali'i to blow the margin out to 20 points. He does. So they've got a couple of good ones, don't they, the Dogs? Joash Papali'i, Carl Oloapu showing good signs in this New South Wales Cup game. And the crowd continues to build, as we've touched on. Officially, it's a sellout here today. And it will be fantastic rugby league theatre, you'd imagine, as two Sydney clubs rip into their round one game. Canterbury taking this New South Wales Cup game. They were strong earlier in the Jersey flag as well, looking for A win across the grades by taking the NRL game a little later. Moran.
Lock in for us. Hold. Go to.
He sends it the same way through Oluwapu. Bumping run here takes the Bulldogs beyond the 30. It's Zach Montgomery, who's playing in that centre position. Was listed to be Braden Burns there today, but
Thanks. Crush up.
Zach Montgomery comes in. Reid Marnie. I remember his opening 20 minutes at Maruya, round 1 of the pre-season challenge vividly. Spud Carroll directed Canterbury really well. They looked very settled. They played for what was a pre-season game. Good footy.
He's a tackling machine, but I've never seen his ears so bad. I'll tell you what, he's got to get his head out of the way. That's where it is headgear.
I'm sure it's the least of his concerns as he prepares for his premiership debut at Canterbury. Haywood to Torpenny. Canterbury's Cup Player of the Year last year. He's been Clubman of the Year previously, SG Ball Player of the Year, as I mentioned. Barely a Canterbury presentation night goes by where Jackson Torpenny hasn't left with something. And now a mistake in the ruck. Sikrikis just signalling to his teammates. Sorry about that, not a lot of concern given the scoreline. 6.5 to go. Given the NRL game to come, Spud Carroll, if you can put your manly allegiance to one side, how do you go picking a winner? Sea Eagles, Bulldogs.
I think the forwards sort of equal each other there, but I think just the addition of Trbojevic, it's just, it gives these players a bit of a boost, but he'd be keen to get out there. I think, and also Garrick on the wing. He scores every time, so it's going to be a packed house, as you said, Matt. It's going to be hot, but I guarantee these guys are conditioned for the brutal battle through the middle.
Give us a forward to watch. I know they've been working out in Spud's gym. Who's the lunatic amongst them who's really stood out to you?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to give Jake Trbojevic. I just love the way he is. I love when he he reminds me of Steve Smith. He can't sit still. If you watch Jake, he moves around. He's always moved his hands, but he came into the gym and he says, Spud, I don't know how to box. I said, well, mate, you're going to learn. I whacked him in the head a few times. But actually, he brought it up when it was a Gosford, and you know what he did in the gym? He picked me up and he put me through the wall. That's all he knows he can do. He's tackle, but he's such a great leader. And I just, look at what the Canterbury Bulldogs they've picked up. It's going to be a great collision through the middle.
The pre-season challenge winners on your screen. Do you put much weight in the pre-season challenge and the fact that Canterbury got through that by having 2 wins and emerging with $100,000?
Yeah, it was well done for the guys, but what I liked about that was promoting offloads. And the other day, I think when I watched the Parramatta game, I couldn't believe how many offloads were in the first half. I'm thinking, mate, these guys know they've changed the rules. But, there was a lot of mistakes in the game from the Parramatta-Melbourne game, but I'll tell you, the offloads were beautiful to watch.
You get to see Preston playing as well. He was one of the pre-season stars for Canterbury, and he's cracked first grade for round 1 of the season. Saw him warming up in that shot a moment ago.
Yeah, I think Serrato, with his background of Penrith Panthers, he was a defensive effort. I think he was the defensive coach, so and that's one thing the Canterbury side will have this afternoon.
Montgomery again. They're 10 metres out, Canterbury, looking for a big exclamation mark at the end of a fine comeback. Curtis Moran had a head of steam up, cut down just short. Here's Haywood at the line, and Torpenny had the defence sweating on him, but illegally.
Tackled early without the ball.
There's the explanation from the referee. The defence was a little overzealous. Fletcher Myers up quickly and making the tackle before the ball had arrived.
Yeah, it was one of those defensive efforts had to come out. It's all about timing. The timing was off there, but I think the Canterbury side have still got another score on them, Matty.
It looks like it. 3.5 minutes left. They're in great position as Gray misfires out of dummy half. It's picked up by Papali'i. Joash Papali'i. Another one of the teenagers, the local teenagers in this back line. Standing onto the ball. It's a good run by Jack Stringer. Oluwapu. He goes on through Lipoi Hopoi, one of the try scorers today for Canterbury. Called into the squad late by David Tangatatoa. Oluwapu, look at that footwork, skipping his way forward, shrugging clear of defence, crawling towards the goal line and over it, but he's held up. He is a likely customer.
Incredible.
Carl Oluwapu.
So, mate, he's got a lot of Benji Marshall, the way he skips and they jump on that. You don't see any front rows. Look at that little skip and go.
And the strength.
And for a young man, look, he's not that big, but I'll tell you what, he's bloody strong.
Deceptive. Gray already with a try after shooting out a dummy half. That one a little optimistic. Instead, he'll turn it over just a couple of metres out with 2 minutes left in this game. So Penrith opening the New South Wales Cup last night with a victory, and the other grand finalist from last year, Canterbury, about to do the same.
Yeah, I just think Matty is out the box. I think with Reynolds going off, he's been off for the full second half, right? And they're probably saying to Oluwapu, this one, we'll see what you can do, kid. Reynolds showed what to do in the first half. Fantastic sort of ball work, and this kid's certainly taken the second half. He's been the highlight for the second half, so it's good learnings by the Canterbury Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs completing up near 90%. And if you've joined us late, they trailed 16-0 as Blacktown scored the first 4 tries, all of them unconverted. And you just wondered whether they'd pay a price for those misses at goal. Well, ultimately, the margin will be much bigger than that, but it kept Canterbury in the game, and now the kick finds the ground just in time. And since that 16-0 lead to Blacktown, it's been all the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it certainly has, Matty. But as I said, mate, I'm a stat man. I love the run meters, and they're 11.65 compared to 9.95. So add them up. They've ran harder. They've aimed between the shoulders, and that's why the scoreline is now 36-16. As you said, down 16-0. It could have been 30, but they're on top with the last 36 points. They've been a great side.
Warm afternoon in Sydney. Manly Canterbury next up to start your NRL games this afternoon, followed by North Queensland against Canberra, and later tonight Cronulla at home to South Sydney. As the ball comes free, and Blacktown will look to add a try late perhaps. Jacob Sykes on the end of that tackle. Spud.
Great tackle.
Right through the halves, on to Clayton Folalo.
Yeah, defensively, you can't beat the way that the Canterbury side's done. They've done plenty of work, Matty. You can see they've been working hard at training, and if you get your defence right, the attack comes. That's why they've got 36 points.
Madison out to Harper, who kicks. Joash Papali'i perfectly placed again, and he will have the final possession of the game.
Thanks, Joash. Thanks, Dean.
Now we'll signal full time. A big comeback win to Canterbury. From 16-0 down, they run in 6 tries to 4 in total and win it 36-16.